Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today it is picks time. It has been a while. The 2-week break is now over. The Overwatch League is back and it's time to make some picks. 8 matches this weekend, 5 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday. Let's jump into it. Throw my picks up on the screen right now. First match of the weekend is in the Asia Pacific region. We have the London Spitfire taking on the Shanghai Dragons. Very close match last time these two teams played during the May Melee tournament. The Shanghai Dragons pulled away with the 3-2 victory, but a very close series where Glister especially performed very, very well. I don't think the series will be as close this time around, though it is possible. I think the Spitfire are one of these teams that, because of the way that their schedule has worked and they've played so few matches so far this season, they've benefited from that, and they've had time to kind of grow and improve. Yes, they have a losing record. I think as a whole they're going to get better, but I still don't think they're good enough to beat the Shanghai Dragons. They are in a tough region. I think once they're able to return to North America, they will find more success, if that ever happens, of course. But for right now, Shanghai Dragons win this one, and I think they win somewhat convincingly. The next match is my big pick for Saturday, and it is the New York Excelsior taking on the Seoul Dynasty. This, to me, is the best match of the weekend on paper. The NYXL have a retooled, reloaded, revamped roster. The addition of Hacksaw, as well as Nene returning to the team in Korea, as well as Mandu now being old enough to play in the league. This team is looking to try to bounce back and have a dominant second half to their season. Or, I guess, it's a little less than half. The Seoul Dynasty, on the other hand, have had their ups and downs, but this hero pool for this current month, the 2-week hero pool that is in place, is very good for the Dynasty. No Echo. They've struggled playing Echo, so they're not going to mind that. No Sombra. They don't really play Sombra anyway. It doesn't really bother them. No Diva. Well, they've looked pretty weak when they've had to play Diva. And no Brigitte, which means that we can see them excel on Lucio, who has been arguably their best support hero. And probably some Baptiste as well in there. He might not be as good as their Lucio, but no Brig. That doesn't really bother them. It does mean there won't be any Tracer play, most likely. But the big thing is no Diva and no Echo, because they're two heroes they have struggled on. The meta will probably be either double shield or some kind of rush composition. Either way, I think the Dynasty look pretty good. In a rush composition versus a rush composition, I think New York may have the edge there. But in double shield, I don't think there's anybody better than the Seoul Dynasty. They have looked their best running double shield. It's going to be a close one. It's difficult to pick knowing that New York has had so many changes and there's not really much of a chance of guessing who will play. But right now, I think the Dynasty have the edge because I think the meta will favor their playstyle. But they do a very tough schedule, and I think they will struggle a little bit. Moving on to North America, with the Paris Eternal taking on the Boston Uprising. These two teams played in the May Melee tournament, and it was pretty close. 3-2 match that went the way of the Paris Eternal in the end, but it was pretty close as a whole. The Eternal now have Sparkle. He's of age. He's ready to play. I think that will be a boost to this team. I think they should find victory against the Uprising. The Uprising look better, but I still think the Eternal are the better team as a whole. I will be intrigued to see this Eternal team when Exy is back and when Fielder is in North America, if he isn't already. I don't believe he is, but there's a possibility I missed it. This is a team who, when I think they are at full strength, are very, very good. I think they'll be better when they're at full strength. Right now, they've looked good. They've looked solid. I think the new addition of Sparkle will help this team further themselves, and I think they will find victory over a Boston Uprising team who, while on the up, I still think are on the lower end of the league. Next is the Florida Mayhem against the Dallas Fuel. No Brig means less Tracer play, most likely, or possibly, but with no Echo, we could be seeing a ton of Yaki Tracer potentially matching up against the Decay Tracer, unless Decay wants to run Widowmaker. Whatever the pool is, I like the Mayhem in this match. I think the Mayhem are the better overall team. I think the Mayhem proved themselves in the May Melee tournament, that they are one of the top teams in North America. They're not a team to sleep on. They're not a team to mess around against. The Fuel, while I think they have looked okay and they've looked up and down, I don't really think they have much of a chance against a Mayhem team that I think is very good. But if Decay can have a really great series, I think that there is definitely a chance for the Fuel to walk away victorious. Final match on Saturday is the Atlanta Reign against the LA Gladiators. This is a close one, I think. These are two teams that I think are pretty close together. I have more faith in the Reign. I think I've seen more out of them so far this season. They've looked very good when they play teams who they are definitely better than. They have dominated them. Their big weakness is they have not won a game that they didn't win every map. Now that obviously doesn't really mean a whole lot in terms of judging this team, right? Like, a win's a win in most cases, and how you win doesn't really matter. But if there's a pattern like that, it gets a little worrisome. And the Reign are a team who have the talent to beat worse teams, but they may not have the teamwork and coordination to beat teams who are around them or better than they are. I think they're better than the Gladiators. I think they should be able to win this match. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be one of the games where we actually see the Reign have to struggle for a win, or at least fight for a win. But I do think they win. I trust this DPS lineup better, even without Erster. I trust Baby Bay Edison. I trust Sharp as well. I think this is a good roster. I trust it more than we have in the Gladiators. So I am picking the Reign. Moving on to Sunday, we have the Philadelphia Fusion taking on the Houston Outlaws. No Asia games on Sunday, so jumping right into the North American matches. I like the Philadelphia Fusion. Yes, they struggled a bit in the May Melee tournament, falling to the Florida Mayhem, but I still think the Fusion are one of the best teams in the league. They still technically have the best record in the Overwatch League. Still only have that one regular season loss. So I do like the Fusion. I think they're a very good team, and they're a very solid team. I think they should beat the Outlaws pretty easily, especially when there's still so many main tank questions around the Outlaws. Who will beam Muma? Will they find somebody else? Is Hydration going to keep playing the main tank for this team? A lot of questions. I like the Fusion in this one. The second game on Sunday is the battle for Canada, the Vancouver Titans and the Toronto Defiant. The Vancouver Titans have looked better, especially with the addition of Shockwave. When these two teams matched up in the May Melee tournament, it was a pretty close one. A 3-2 win for the Toronto Defiant. But I haven't seen the Titans win yet. And a close game isn't a win. And I need to see the Titans prove that they can beat a team before I give them the edge over anybody else. The Defiant added Numlocked over the break, which I think will boost this roster. I think it'll make them stronger. Veteran presence, a player to play main tank, which, while I don't think Beast has necessarily been the problem for them this season, I don't know if they have a vocal leadership figure on this team's starting lineup. Surefour hasn't really played a whole lot, so there's a lot of questions around this Defiant team, but I think that the addition of Numlocked is a very good one. I think this is a team who will start to look better. Kareev is still playing out of his mind, and I still think we're seeing incredible performances out of Logix. But for the most part, we're not seeing what I think is the expectations be met for this Defiant team. I think they're better than the Titans, and I think they win this one. Final match for the weekend is the LA Valiant against the Washington Justice. The Washington Justice revamped roster. The additions of Stitch and Janu make this team better, but I don't think it's enough for them to beat a Valiant team that right now I would consider a top 5 team in North America. They are by no means the best team in North America. They have their weaknesses. They are not invincible. They're still a little sloppy, but they have a ton of talent, and they have started to work well as a team. They started to work better as a team, and I think KSP and Shax are really, really, really good. So that really is what I look at as the strength for this Valiant roster. The Justice have not really impressed me, especially in the main tank position. Roar has been underperforming. If the Justice add a new player, I would love to see them add a new main tank. There's some Korean main tanks, such as Fissure, or Mag, who they could definitely bring in. It gets a little difficult with a player like Mag because getting a visa for him would be difficult, but Fissure realistically shouldn't be too difficult since he already had one from playing with the Vancouver Titans. Who knows what's going to happen, but I like the Valiant in this one because I think they've looked better as a whole, and they have impressed me more so far this season than the Justice have. Those are my picks for the week. Let's take a quick look at the Overwatch League standings. Now, these are the standings that are adjusted based on the post-tournament wins and all that jazz. They may be a little off because the Overwatch League website itself is not accurate because of the way that the manual entry of wins kind of changed things and made things look all weird and somewhat disjointed. I don't really understand why some teams are ahead of other teams when they shouldn't be ahead of other teams. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but we're here and this is what we have. So the standings are here for you to look at. Nothing really noticeably different from what we'd been seeing. The Dynasty, higher than they were before. They had a 50% win rate with a -2 map differential. Now they had 2 wins from the tournament, so they jump up ahead of the Atlanta Reign and the Paris Eternal. We see all of these teams in the top 7 walk away from the tournament with wins. The Fusion getting 1 additional win, the Dragons getting 3, the Shock getting 3, the Excelsior getting 1, Mayhem getting 2, Charge getting 1, Dynasty getting 2, as well as the LA Valiant there and in 10th getting the 1 additional win, which boosted their record up to 6-6. So that put them ahead of your Spark, Valiant, Spitfire teams like that. If you notice anything weird or anything wrong with these standings, please let me know. I tried to make them as accurate as I believe they're supposed to be. So I base it on record, win rate, differential. Those are the types of things that I base it on. But it was win rate primarily is the main thing that you look at. And then from there, you determine it based on differential. And then from there, it's head-to-head matchups and whatnot, stuff like that. But these are the standings as they should be, and that is where things are. So that is all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking and subscribing for more content like this in the future. Let me know down in the comments your thoughts on anything, whether it be my picks, if you want to give your own picks, if there's a team you think I'm wrong about, if there's a team that you think is going to be having a great late season. I'd love to hear from you and get your thoughts on it, and your thoughts on the new hero pool system that is in effect for 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks off, including the tournament week. That is all stuff that's going on that I'd love to hear from you about. But that is all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you're all staying safe and healthy, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.